What's up, everybody? This is Tom Taylor with South China Morning Post, SCMP Martial Arts. Joined this morning by the number one contender in the One Championship Strawweight division, Jared Brooks. Jared, you have a big fight coming up with Joshua Pacio, December 3rd in Manila. You finally have a date. You finally have a location. I mean, how does it feel to actually have something to train for now?
Yeah, man. I thought the fight was going to go down June 3rd, but complications set up. I still don't even know what those complications were. But yeah, December 3rd, we're lined up to fight for the world championship against Joshua Pacio. Josh is a very tough opponent. He's not going to be a walk in the park, but I have a game plan and I'm ready to set the world on fire.
Awesome, man. You mentioned, this was canceled once before under sort of mysterious circumstances. Now, obviously, you don't want to linger on that, but is it kind of hard to get excited for this fight? Are you worried at all that this may happen again? Is there any paranoia on your end?
No, this is in Manila. This is his home country. There's no excuses. No excuses from either side. So he has months to train for this camp. He's had almost a year to train for me. He knows that he was gonna go against me in the first place. So he's had about a year to get ready for me, and I've been training for this my whole life. So I think that I have steps and things that I've done that he hasn't.
hmm You mentioned this is in Manila. Obviously, that's his home turf. You're going into enemy territory, but you sort of seem like the kind of guy who would rise to that occasion. And of course, Manila and the Philippines are known for being very beautiful places, full of amazing food and all of this. Do you see this sort of as a silver lining of the delay that you get to go to the Philippines now?
It doesn't matter where I'm at, man. It's when I'm in fight mode, and I treat my hotel room like a prison. I don't go out of that hotel room, and I just like to isolate myself, get my energy, and keep that in between myself. So,
Mhm.
um, Joshua is not going to be ready for anything that I bring. This good old American ass kicking is definitely going to be on his mind for the next lingering years.
hmm Well, let's talk a bit about the matchup. Obviously, as we've discussed, you were supposed to fight in June, so you're kind of doing back-to-back camps here, and I imagine, preparing for him a bit before that, just sort of getting ready for him. How well do you feel like you know this guy at this point?
Man, like my friend told me in high school, but my second fight, I lost my first fight ever, and my second fight, he was just like, I was like, "What do you think I should do against this guy?" He was just like, "You don't have a plan. You just like there's no game plan going in there. You just go out there and you perform and you show your ass." And I show my ass in training, so um, I've been doing this my whole life, bro. And like I said, there's steps to this game, and even though he's been a champion for about 6 years, there's still steps, man. And I've taken way more.
hmm So, just speaking of the game plan and stuff, it's more reactive for you, right? You go in there and you just sort of react and do what you need to do. It's not, there's not a firm strategy in place necessarily.
Not a firm strategy. I'm just going in guns blazing, and where the fight takes me, it takes me. But I want to knock him out in the first 30 seconds.
hmm that would be very cool to see. It's an amazing matchup. Last time, or the time before that I spoke to you, it was right when you were getting ready to fight Bokong, and you mentioned that you thought Bokong was actually a tougher fight than Joshua. Now, was that just a little bit of pre-fight promotion, or do you stand by that? Do you feel like you've already beat the best guys in this division?
Yeah, you know, even on my next diss against Joshua Pacio, I didn't actually put it in there, but Josh, oh my gosh, how we get here? Beat better people than you have in 1 year. So your whole career, I've beat better people than you have in that whole year. So I think that he's not going to be prepared for this style and the way that I'm going to bring. And different fighters bring different opportunities and different kind of styles that will bring out of me. So super excited to fight Josh. He's a smarter Lito Wing. Let's just say that.
hmm Yeah, he is a different matchup than anyone you've fought in one so far. Obviously, he has some similarities to Lito just being from the same camp, but he's a different animal, I'd say. So you feel like we may see a different version of you than we've seen so far in this matchup.
Million percent. If somebody brings pressure onto me, then it brings a better side out of me. I even said that in the Bokong fight. It doesn't matter who I'm going against. If they're really good, then I'm gonna rise to that occasion as well.
hmm and just looking at his game, I mean, what would you say his biggest strengths are? Obviously, he's known as a striker, but it's a nuanced striking game, right? I mean, what are his biggest strengths?
I mean, I just think that he's grown a lot in the past fights that he's had. So if you watch from Rene Catalan on, he's grown. He picks his shots. He knows when to slingshot at the right time. So his timing is very good. I would say I haven't felt him. You never know wrestling defense until you feel somebody. So haven't felt him in that, but it looks like his wrestling defense has gotten a little bit better as well.
Mhm.
But against Saruda and stuff like that, he didn't really get the opportunities to show his defensive wrestling because Saruda wasn't wrestling. So yeah, I'm gonna take him into deep waters if he doesn't think that those other trainers that he's working with has the same kind of wrestling caliber that I do, then they're mistaken. It doesn't matter if it's Kevin Bellington, it doesn't matter if it's Danny King Dad. Those guys do not have the wrestling prowess that I have and the jujitsu prowess. Everybody sleeps on my jujitsu as well. I go against some of the best world champions in Michigan and I hang with them. So I think that I can beat your average jujitsu fighter in one.
Mhm. I wanted to ask you about that. Now, of course, I don't want to discredit Joshua's game or anything, but it's clear, from the early vantage point that you have the grappling edge here. You've been doing it for way longer. You have more experience in it. Do you feel like is there anything he can do in the amount of time that he has to get ready for your takedowns, for your submissions, and so on?
Look, man, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. It's like anything can happen in a fight,
Mhm.
literally anything. So you never know. I knocked myself out before. Like, who would have thought? But at the end of the day, I think that I have 10 times the grappling capabilities as him. But my good fellow Panois, I am going to try to knock your boy out on the feet. I know that y'all talk stuff, all that stuff when I beat Lido, saying that I'm not a real fighter because I didn't go on the feet with him. But wait for my opportunities, and I'll show y'all that I can be a knockout artist as well.
Well, that certainly sounds very exciting. I'm excited to see that. Um, obviously you and Joshua, there's some heat attached to this matchup now. You've been going back and forth a bit, but if you take all that away, you just sort of look at him objectively. Do you like the way he fights? Do you like his fighting style? Like, are you a fan of this guy if you take it all out of the equation?
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fan, but I like certain things about his style. I think that he does a good job. All those Team LeKay guys, they do a good job of getting their head offline, throwing hard stuff and head offline. That's pretty much Team LeKay's style. So I respect that about their capabilities, but from the stuff that they talk and they act like they're so humble and stuff like that, I'm like, bro, that's not how y'all are in the gym. At the end of the day, like y'all are just like, we're gonna beat this little American and go on from there. But I mean, I'll put it out in the public. I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna smash all of your team. I'm literally going to smash all of your team. I'll go up to flyweight. I'll fight Danny King Dad. I'll go up to bantamweight and I'll fight Kevin Bellington. It doesn't matter, but I will beat your whole team. Like at the end of the day, and don't get that twisted.
Hmm. Speaking of that team, I mean, these guys are known as kickers. They're known for the spins and whatnot. Do you feel like, in a way, you're kind of, tailor made to beat this team with your grappling acumen that you have?
They're smart with how they throw their spinning stuff though, to where they're not
Mhm.
getting their back taken that much. Which Josh did get caught that way against Suzuki a while
Mhm.
back, but Josh was a younger fighter. So, but props to them. Their spinning back kicks and their spinning back fists are pretty dope. That's another thing that I do like about their team as well. Um, but I don't see them really as a huge threat. But if you're looking at it in the UFC aspect versus one, like UFC just has a lot more strikers than wrestlers compared to where they were. So if you're going striker by striker in the UFC compared to one, I would say Team LeKay is like a little bit higher than the
Mhm.
striking prowess in UFC.
Mhm. Yeah, they're definitely amazing strikers. There's no two ways around it. They can definitely get it done on the feet.
For sure.
Assuming this one goes your way, like, have you given any thought to what's next? You've already beaten a lot of the guys in the top five. I mean, what's the next move for you if you win this title?
It's making a lot of fucking money. Literally a lot of money. And who I'm gonna go against next is probably either gonna be Pacios or Ballart.
Mhm.
By the looks of it. But if they wanted to give me a flyweight fight, and test me out at flyweight, and then I can fight Demetrius. Put me up against the best flyweight that you got outside of the top five, and let me beat him, and then we'll see where that goes from there. But I would really just love a super fight with Demetrius Johnson. It doesn't matter if it's for a title or anything like that. That's just a dream come true at the end of the day. Fighting somebody with the prowess of Demetrius. Even Adriano Moraes. Adriano Moraes is an amazing fighter, and I would be humbled to just even share an octagon with, or the circle with, both of those guys.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. That was actually my next question. I feel like a lot of people are going to be talking about this potential Demetrius Johnson super fight if you win the title. It's going to be a big matchup possibility for one championship, particularly with the new Prime deal, right? Because you're both American. I mean, first question about Demetrius, I guess. What did you think of his big win the other week?
Man, I thought he was in trouble at first. I was like, damn. Like, I was really rooting for Demetrius. Me and my boy Justin Scoggins were at his fight in Miami, but the way he just finishes, man, like you can never sleep on Demetrius Johnson, and that just proves it. How old is Demetrius? 37.
Yeah, he's getting up there. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
for a
he's
smaller guy.
37.
Yeah.
He's 37 years old. But even the smaller guys, they can go longer, in my personal opinion. I want to fight until I'm 40. Demetrius is doing it right. He's made his body his temple, and the way that you do that is just making sure that you rest at certain portions of the day, besides training.
hmm Very well said, man. When you watch a fight like DJ and Moraes just had, and you watch the amazing performance DJ had in that fight, do you get excited to fight him, or are you like, oh man, like I have to fight that guy? Is it? How do you feel after watching something like that?
Like I said, I rise to the occasion. If
hmm
if I'm going against somebody that's really good, I'm gonna start to either mirror, mimic, or make them think that they're not as good as they are.
hmm
And that's what I'm really good at. I can get mentally in your head as well. Demetrius blocked me on Instagram like at least I think 3 years ago because
Wow.
I was talking that shit in the UFC. So he's already got the hint. He already
hmm
knows what's up. It's not like but I think at the end of the day, I love Demetrius Johnson. I love you, Demetrius Johnson. You have paved the way of my career. It's been like literally 10 years I've been studying Demetrius Johnson. So for that to happen would be crazy. I see Kyra talking like he's going to fight Demetrius, but nah,
hmm
nah. Fight me first, Kyra.
Yeah, I like that idea too. You have made it quite clear, over certainly in our conversations and the other interviews you've done that you hold Demetrius Johnson in very high regard. You respect him, but when you look at his game, you see things that you think you could potentially expose and beat this guy that so often looks unbeatable.
I'm stronger than Demetrius, and I'm faster than Demetrius. So, and meeting Demetrius for the first time was absolutely insane because I thought Demetrius was taller than me,
hmm
but I'm taller than Demetrius, and that's really weird to me. It was really
Yeah.
weird, but he has a really big arm. He can stretch his arms really, really high, so it doesn't matter on the reach. But I think my wrestling goes beyond his. I think my jujitsu strength goes beyond his jujitsu capabilities.
hmm
But yeah, I think that me and Demetrius would go hard 5 rounds.
Yeah, I mean it's an amazing matchup. It strikes me as really one of the biggest fights that one championship can make at this point, particularly if you win this strawweight title. So let's get back to that. Obviously,
Mhm.
a very important fight. Assuming it goes your way after the journey you've had from the UFC, Bellator, Ryzen, pit stops in there. How good is it going to feel to win this major title after the journey you've had?
Well, one championship is just showing that, like in martial arts, period, they're putting everything into one show. So they're showing, period, that they're the home of martial arts, and to be the first strawweight American champion to do that in one is just yeah, it's a dream come true. It isn't what I want a flyweight title.
Mhm.
That's my real, determination. But a strawweight title would mean the world to me, and it would bring my confidence when it's up, man. You can't get it down, and
Mhm.
confidence is what runs this game. So I think as soon as I get that strawweight title, it's gonna be over, man.
Very cool, man. It seems like you've really kind of made a home here in one. And, it's a really good fit. And I confess when you left the UFC, I remember you were kind of courting promotions, and I'd followed you in the UFC, and knew you like to talk a bit of shit. And
Hmm.
one at that time was kind of anti shit talk, and you'd suggested one, and I was kind of like, I don't know if that's the right pairing. But then here you are, and you've clearly like you fit right in. Do you feel like you've somehow this has just worked out perfectly for you?
I brushed the feathers off, and now there's just the wax. You got to wash the wax off, So, um, people thought of me as a clown for a while, but I got to that middle stage to where I can talk and not be insane.
You are actually kind of becoming an expert at that. Talking trash without it crossing any lines. It's like ballet or something. I don't know how you do it, man. Very impressive the way you strike this balance. I have to say, it's cool to see.
I'm
Um,
working on cussing, man. I'm working on my cussing. I'm trying not to cuss as much.
it's hard not to do, man. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just need an f bomb. Sometimes nothing else works.
True that.
um, anyway, so this fight with Pacio. I mean, I don't know if you're a big prediction guy, but is there any particular way you see this going? You mentioned you'd like to knock him out, but how do you see it going?
It's first round. He's done. It doesn't matter when it is, where it is, like around the circle. I'm just gonna get it done in the first round, and I know that. I know that deep down in my heart. I I predicted this. I've seen this for the past like 3 months, so I'm definitely ready for whatever he tries to bring to me. But I'm just worried about my game plan and what I'm doing to him.
Cool. And then wrapping it up with this, I mean, do you have a message for your fans, not just the fans that have supported you all along, but the new fans that are jumping on the bandwagon now? What do you have to say to the people who support you?
Yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in to One Period. But hopefully I can be your next home for fighters. I know that sometimes wrestlers to a certain point can be boring, but I show it in a different aspect, and I just show where I'm from and how I around where I'm from fight. So yeah, I appreciate all of you guys, and hope to see all of the fans in the Philippines. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And one last thing to Joshua Pacio, I seen that his last interview on was it South China?
That's us, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
with my
Uh,
colleague Nick. Yeah.
yeah, I seen that he said that he was born for this, right? But um, isn't your team spokes thing like champions are not born, they're made? So,
Ah,
Joshua Pacio, I'm gonna take your team's thing and I'm gonna say, I was made for this. I was not born for this. I was made for this. So, Josh, hope to see you December 3rd, my man. And Monkey God is coming for your title, and it's my title. I'm not gonna say it's your title anymore. It's my title.